In the 1990s, Alfa Romeo was digging itself out of a financial hole, as red as the colour of its iconic but slow-selling cars. The 155 had captured the minds, if not the hearts, of the Alfisti. If that car were to be given a report card, it would probably be "must try harder." Well, Alfa certainly did that with the 156. It's a car of legend and brought Alfa Romeo back from the brink. Where did this iconic shape come from? Did Alfa's famous quality problems torpedo sales? And what other cars did it spawn? This is the Alfa Romeo 156 story. After losses in the 1980s, Alfa Romeo was subsumed into Fiat, who started about transforming the company with a range of new cars, including the 155 with a shape crafted by the Idea styling house. This styling company was Fiat's go-to choice in the late 1980s, creating a slew of Fiats and Lancias, but the boxy wedge-shaped design, last seen in the 1970s, was about as popular as flared trousers. But the car itself, especially the four-wheel drive Q4, was praised for its drivability. Fiat decided to promote Alfa Romeo as their performance brand, so it was clear that the 155 successor should retain its power and handling while getting a shape that did the car justice. That shape would come out of a competition between Alfa's internal team, Pininfarina and Italdesign. Alfa Romeo still had a styling team after the Fiat takeover, but it had been overlooked in favour of Fiat's styling team for the SZ, Idea for the 155, Pininfarina for the GTV, and Fiat again for the 145 and 146. They had designed the interior for the GTV and had a hand in the styling for the 145 and 146, but it wasn't a good sign for a struggling team. Trying to justify their existence, they looked back to the 1950s Giulietta for inspiration, producing a shape that won hands down. The new 156 will be styled both inside and out by Alfa's in-house team. That shape used a clever trick to make the car look like a stylish two-door coupe while offering four doors. The rear doors put the handle next to the glass in a part that looked like part of the door frame, and also balanced the area by the front window where the mirror was mounted. It was a design cue that's been copied many times since, but perhaps not as effectively as on the 156. The front was pure Alfa Romeo with the classic Alfa shield front and centre and side elements that hinted at the grille on the Giulietta. The look was without any compromise. The front license plate had to be put off to the side, which rather spoilt the whole look on production cars. Whilst the shape harkened back to previous Alfa Romeos, it wasn't the cartoonish retro of the Jaguar S-Type and new Mini. This was something much more subtle, like for example the retro front door handles that will be copied endlessly by cars since because they're simple, elegant and have a low drag coefficient. Inside it was all business, with no-nonsense speedometer and rev gauges and 3 dials on the centre console that was angled towards the driver. This was clearly a driver's car meant to entertain, but that enjoyment wasn't extended to rear passengers with a low roofline. The tapering coupe look would never have been allowed by some mainstream car companies because of all the practicalities of seating 4 large adults. But after the 155, Alfa Romeo was willing to trade practicality for a stylish design that exuded performance. That was critical because Alfa Romeo's new mandate was combining performance and luxury in the mould of BMW. So the new 156 got an optional mahogany steering wheel and leather seats, air conditioning, front and side airbags and heated front seats. Even the red key fob was more exciting than the boring black rectangle that the competition produced. The outgoing 155 was based on the Fiat Type 3 platform, also used by the Lancia Daedra and Fiat Tempra. The new car used the Fiat C platform used by the Bravo and booted Brava, but Alfa made so many changes it was almost unrecognisable. This was to be a car for handling fast bends, not soaking up potholes on the school run, so rear suspension was taken from the Alfa 164 and the front suspension was all new. The car used lightweight materials like magnesium throughout to make it nimble. The team toyed with the idea of rear-wheel drive, especially after the criticism of the front-wheel drive 155, but ultimately they decided they could get the handling and drivability they wanted from the car by powering just the front wheels. The 156, like the 155, would use Alfa's twin-spark engine as well as their large V6 and the new JTD diesel. In keeping with the 156's focus on performance, there were only manual gearboxes at launch, either a 5 or a 6-speed. From the entry-level 1.6 litre 16-valve engine to the 2.5 litre V6, there wasn't a clunker in the range. All of them produced excellent performance. Even the two diesel engines offered excellent performance with 0 to 60 times under 10 seconds, thanks to new common rail technology that was first seen on the 156. It revolutionized diesel engine design and led to diesel being the go-to fuel across Europe until that whole Dieselgate thing. The 156 was an important car for Alfa Romeo, maybe even the most important car in their history, as Alfa admitted to journalists at its launch. It had to sell well after the disastrous cars of the 70s and 80s. The development of the 156 delayed the release of the 166, as Alfa didn't have the money to develop both cars at the same time. But this compromised sales of Alfa's larger car. There were hopes that the bountiful 156 sales would mean that this wouldn't have to happen again. The Alfa Romeo 156 launched at the 1997 Frankfurt Motor Show, and it created quite a buzz. The press loved its shape. There was a vast improvement over the 155. Alfa produced a 4-door saloon that looked better than some 2-door coupes. The public were equally excited. Almost 1 million people visited special sneak peek events at Alfa dealerships, and in the first few months there were over 100,000 orders. It was maybe no wonder that the 156's stylist, Walter de Silva, would soon be poached by Volkswagen to head up design at SEAT. Automotive experts also agreed. They awarded the 156 Car of the Year for 1998, beating out the Volkswagen Golf, Audi's A6 and Mercedes' innovative new A-Class, which may have lost votes after its infamous Moose test debacle. The 156's main competition was the Audi A4 and the BMW 3 Series that had just been updated. That was tough competition at the time. Every wannabe executive had a BMW or an Audi on their driveway. But Alfa Romeo was still stylish and sought after, and it showed a little out-of-the-box thinking, something that executives proclaimed to love in the 1990s. Was the Alfa Romeo 156 the future of luxury motoring? And was it, not the BMW 3 Series, the ultimate driving machine? Yes, it didn't have as much space as the competition, and the velour seats weren't the best thing to have, but just look at the design. There's a reason why some people buy 2-seater sports cars over more practical fare, and the 156 gave you style with a good amount of practicality. What wasn't to like? Reviewers got behind the wheel to answer that very question. Would the handling and performance live up to the looks? They needn't have worried though. The diligent work on the chassis and suspension had created a car that was a joy to drive, and each engine provided enough power to have fun, especially the V6 with a 0 to 60 time under 7 seconds. They were also excited about the high quality interior that they said was solidly built. Or was it? The main reason BMW's 3 Series and Audi's A4 sold so well was their superior quality. Alfa Romeo might have a good car, but had they shaken off their image of shoddily built rust buckets? Longer-term tests weren't promising. One reviewer had the gear lever covering flake off after the first few miles, and there were annoying creaks and rattles. Alfa Romeo might have 100,000 orders, but would those owners be recommending one to their friends? And what about resale values? From launch, the 156 was only offered with a manual gearbox, but in 1999 the 156 got a choice of a Q-System automatic or the Cellespeed automated manual transmission. The Cellespeed could be operated as a regular automatic or as a manual that didn't need a clutch, changing gears in 0.7 seconds using buttons on the steering wheel. Its similarity with how Formula One cars change gears was hammered home by Alfa's marketing team. The 155 had competed in motorsport, and the 156 was no different, with Fiat wanting Alfa Romeo to be their sports car brand. It would go on to win the Italian, European and South American Touring Car Championship. A road-going version, the Super Turismo, was available for sale in 1998. It was a stripped-out racer with few creature comforts and a 2-litre engine producing 310 horsepower. Whilst developing the 156, Alfa liked the chassis so much they decided to use it for the 147 that launched in 2000. The love the public had for the 156's handling showed that decision made a lot of sense. By 2000, the year the 147 launched, Alfa had sold 250,000 156s. To sell even more, Alfa had to do something about the cramped rear and limited boot space. Work began on the Power Wagon, later renamed to the Sport Wagon estate in 1998, and in 2000 it was available to purchase. The Sport Wagon gave more space at the back, and the boot took part of the roof with it to give better access, a nice touch on a relatively low car. The boot could swallow 5 suitcases or 21 multicoloured boxes with the rear seats down, in case you needed to carry around 21 multicoloured boxes. Best of all, it drove just like a saloon, so other than paying a little extra, there weren't many downsides to owning the estate. Due to Euro 3 standards, the petrol engine lost a little power in 2000, but maybe due to new technology, the diesel engines actually got more power. And by 2001, Alfa had expanded 156 production out of Italy into Thailand. The second series 156 was partly an attempt to address any quality issues. The interior was modified with a new matte finish surface and chrome look centre console. There were new gadgets such as dual-zone climate control, an onboard multifunction computer, electronic stability control, plus the Connect and Connect Nav infotainment service. The buttons for the cellar-speed semi-automatic gearbox were replaced with flappy paddles. Outside there were minimal changes, not much more than body-coloured wing mirrors and headlamp wash wipe. Under the bonnet, the new 2-litre JTS engine used direct injection, offering more power with the same fuel economy, and the diesel engines again got more power, producing a sub 9-second 0 to 60 time while getting nearly 50 miles per gallon. But the star of the show had to be the GTA. It was named after the 1960s Alfa Giulia GTA, GTA standing for Gran Turismo Alleggerita, or lightweight Gran Tourer. You might not look it, but the only body parts carried over from the existing car were the doors, boot and bonnet. The 3.2 litre 247 horsepower V6 got to 60 in 6 seconds. UK tuner Auto Delta would turn that into a 3.7 litre engine with 323 horsepower. And each of the 3,600 GTAs that were eventually produced were hand-built. Just 2 years after the second series 156, the third series arrived. Diesel fans could rejoice with a faster engine. The 2.4 litre JTD 20 valve got to 60 in under 8 seconds. It got a restyle not from Walter da Silva, who was now working for Seat, but from Giorgetto Giugiaro. Like the second series, the changes weren't vast. There were some cutouts around the revised rear lights on the boot, and at the front, the Alfa shield grew down into the front bumper in a shape that was more pleasing to the eye. It also probably reduced the cost to produce the 156, as on the previous car the shield was part of the bonnet, and that would need more support to stop it rattling around at high speeds. The 156's chassis was so good it would be a shame not to reuse it again. The Alfa Romeo GT, a true two-door coupe, launched in 2003 using the same underpinnings as the 156, but with a new shape styled by Bertone. On the other end of the spectrum, Alfa launched the Crosswagon that same year. Like the Volvo XC70, it was a regular sport wagon with raised suspension. This was probably less to sell the sporty Alfa Romeo brand as the last word in off-roading, and more to offer a car with a higher driving position for those that wanted the Alfa Romeo image but preferred more sedate driving. Customers who were looking to the 156 for its superb handling avoided it like the plague. One last change to the 156 appeared in 2004 with the Sport Wagon and Crosswagon Q4, an all-wheel drive version with technology purchased from Audi. It surely helped with traction through the corners, but the extra 150 kilograms of weight made the car a little bit slower. Production of the 156 ended in 2005 after selling 670,000 cars. The replacement would be the 159. It followed a similar design but didn't sell as well. Less than 250,000 were sold in 6 years. The Q4 Crosswagon continued to be produced for another 2 years but wouldn't have an obvious successor. Maybe a bad decision, as crossovers would become a lot more popular in the years to come. Customers would have to wait for the Stelvio in 2017 to buy a taller Alfa Romeo, something the competition had been offering for decades. The 156 design continues to be felt in Alfa Romeos such as the 159 replacement, the 2015 Giulia. That's a testament to the beautiful shape Alfa's styling team created for the successor to the boxy 155. It's a shape that stood the test of time, winning accolades when it launched, and continues to win hearts today. Alfa Romeo stunned crowds 20 years before the 156 with the Alfa Sud, an Alfa built down south, Alfa Sud literally meaning Alfa South. It promised to set Alfa up for success in the 70s, but ended up taking them into the financial wilderness. Find out more in the video on the right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.